past Halloween. It's the beginning of November. But I recently watched The Conjuring 1 and 2 on Netflix. And I gotta say this. I've never been scared in a while since I was a kid. And I normally don't watch those kinds of movies, but something was like, maybe I should. Because, like, based roughly around a true story of some investigators going to a house that was very, very quote-unquote haunted 40 years ago. So I watched the movies, right? I made the mistake of getting high. I ate an edible and watching it. I don't think I've ever been that scared since ever. I've been pretty moderately like, ooh. The reason why one scene really got me was the one where the mom gets shut into the basement and the door's just like locked and she's just rattling and shaking and screaming and there's no lights and there's just something down there messing with her. Hit a little too close to home for me, I feel like. But I feel like it was a good thing for me to be reminded that I'm not the only one who's ever been through something like that in my life. So I'm just going to say this right now. I have had experiences like that growing up. I might have a video just dedicated to it, like my real experiences with demonic presences or whatever, if you want to call them that, or just want to call them spirits. You can call it whatever you want. But yeah, The Conjuring is very accurate, specifically the first one. The second one takes some things that are kind of real in it, does a more cinematic, spin on it, and the second one's not as scary. It's got some things in it that I'm like, but it doesn't have the pacing or the mood or setting or sound design that the first one has. The first one has such key building. Each scene feels like it's like the most important scene compared to the second one. I even feel like after even watching the trailer of the third one, I'm like, it's not looking as, realistic as the first movie. The first one is the one I would recommend you watch. Jesus Christ, man. I have hood hair. My hair's been under my hood all day. So that's why it looks kind of weird. Also, headphones. So just been putting a lot of pressure on them, making it look weird. But the thing about it is the lesson of you're a fighter. You're never weak. Even if you choose, like, if something's taking over, you have no strength. Choosing love, choosing your life, choosing your family is always stronger. I believe that. I really do believe that. Also, take some notes. If your fucking dog is barking, don't go in the house. If you have a creepy basement, fuck the basement. Also, don't live in spooky houses, man. Just fucking leave. Just go. The fact that the dog dies, like random animals start dying, is a clear sign something's up. You know what I mean? Like, duh, are you thick? They're like very dummy thick. And I think that is just the director to making the characters seem a little more dumb because I feel like all of a sudden they switch over to going, there's something in our house, is the more accurate response from anyone would go, yeah, something's here, this is weird. Especially if you live back in the 70s. I mean, there's tons of people that were like very spiritualistic compared to modern day. So I'm just saying, it doesn't make a lot of sense. They're just like, it's nothing. It's probably the pipes. Except for the investigators. I kind of understand why they like that. Again, I don't remember names in movies. I'm really bad at remembering names. Oh yeah, just the male and female investigator people. And they come into the picture, and they're talking about all the weird things they've been involved in. It's like, obviously there's more to their story. There's more movies, and that kind of got me a little like, shit, I didn't see all the movies. I don't know everything, so that's fine. It really doesn't really matter too much. All that matters is her vision and him almost dying. So that leads into the second movie. That's why, actually, the second movie's kind of cool. Rating wise, for the first one, I give that a solid 8.9. I'm not gonna give it a 9 because just some of the characters seem a little dummy thick, a little stupid. But the witch, man, the scenes with that when you're high, and I actually had to stop the movie and go to bed. Like I had to stop the movie over halfway through, go away, take a little break, come back, and finish it. That was the first one. Second one, I sat the whole way through, no problem. Even if I was high, I could have sat the whole way through that. So maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe if I was high, both of them are the scariest things I've ever watched. Maybe if I watched the first one not high, maybe it would have made a difference. But I have a weird feeling that it wouldn't have. I can handle things pretty emotionally well, even horror or spooky games or anything like that, and not react start shaking. Like I was actually went from going and then looking behind me randomly and then just started shaking. I was like, man, I'm freaking out. And I had actual bodily reaction to the character in the movie. I started associating the temperature in the room, the way it felt, being tired, being emotional. My eyes were kind of irritated, had some water, when your eyes get really, really dry, and then you start kind of tearing up. All those things stacking on top of just watching the movie made me feel like I was just oh no, I'm getting attacked, I'm getting drained, something's gonna get me. But yet nothing was there. It was just a complete instinctual swap with the mom. I feel really bad for her, honestly. Dude, she went to go take a nap, she's tired, and then she gets possessed randomly. That's so fucking sad. I honestly think if you don't invite it into you, it shouldn't be able to possess you, but I don't know everything, you know what I mean? I have only experienced stuff in my life. So it's pretty crazy. And if it is based off, at least some of the events, I believe, maybe have been condensed, obviously, for the movie. They might have been more spread out over months or a year, who knows. But still, that kind of stuff's really hard to live with, you know what I mean, even after. And in the second movie, with the girl who sat in the chair and the old man was talking through her, she still lived in that house even after the events of what happened to her. And then she died, in the chair at 80 or something, just randomly passed away. I'm dude, that's fucking crazy. So the fact that there's a real, what's the word I'm looking for? Effects. Words. Consequences. Being in that environment. Repercussions. Those are the words I'm looking for. It is crazy. And then just I'm trying to think about the fact that there's a repercussion for being there, even though there's nothing there. You might not have a spirit might have moved on, but the events that happened, they still kind of echo. They're their own ghosts. It's kind of weird. That's what the story's implying. Even if it's not, if you don't believe that it really happened, even the story's implying that no matter what, there is this overarching system of events that'll always transpire, period, that create these environments. So something about, maybe the land's cursed, maybe the house is cursed, maybe there's an object, and that's why they keep the objects away. It's why they try to, keep people from being in those kinds of places. The house can become an object. It's a very interesting thing to think about. And the way they handle it, it builds on and it gets more complex, but it doesn't throw it in your face there's this crazy mechanism in doing these things to you. They don't do that. They don't throw it in your face. They let you and respect you as the viewer to figure it out. And if you don't, you're just freaked out. Cool, because that's what kind of the point too. It's just kind of go and then it makes you think about the movie even way after you watched it. But yeah, the second movie, I'm gonna give it 8.5. I'm not gonna give it 8.9. These are still great ratings for these. These are great movies, but honestly, I think if you want to get freaked out, just go watch, a slasher or spooky movie. But if you're just like, hey, I want to learn or feel like I'm gaining some insight on, possible real events that could, help you in an actual event if you do encounter spirits in your life, that's what I'm getting at here. And I will make a video talking about the experiences I've been in, which would point to why I'm considering these movies to feel very real. And the first one specifically does feel very real. I like that. I like that it has that recreation aspect. Almost to the degree, like Passion of the Christ would be on. Like, it's very, very, very gritty and slow paced. And the actors are great. They do such a good job feeling out these stories, these characters so well, even if they've never lived those kinds of things. I read up on the movies. Turns out the actors started experiencing things on set that made them feel like these events were happening to them, even though they weren't. So, like I said, even though an event happens and you're not even at the location, those things still existed, and you can still feel them and still use them. And that's a very interesting thing that I don't think science or anyone's fully explored yet. But I kind of believe it, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, first movie, 8.9. Second movie, 8.5. And that's my rating on The Conjuring 1 and 2. And I'm Mark Young, and I hope you're having a good night or day depending where you're at. And I'll see you later. Bye.